Good morning, all, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Brunswick, Maine. We have surely found our way to a Maine winter, even perhaps with a bit of snow, and the holiday season is upon us. My name is Penny Elwell, and I'm a member of the UUCB Board of Trustees. We are continuing through the holidays with our virtual services, and consequently, we need your participation. Thus, we have this announcement from the Worship Committee. If you haven't already sent Reverend Justine a picture of you with your Christmas Eve candle for Silent Night, or if you haven't already sent her a picture of babies born in 2020, or baby pictures from any time, there's still time, but you have to do it today. Justine and Judd really need these by the end of the day today to be able to get them into our Christmas Eve services. Send those pictures to Justine today. A reminder, that is today. Thanks so much, the Worship Committee. We are so glad this morning to have the opportunity to be together. Reverend Justine Sullivan, our interim minister, will lead our service. Again, as we begin our service, a warm welcome to you all.
In Bethlehem a manger waits, long ago and so today, where hatred-weary people pray, love will come and lay there. And so to countless stables stand, in hearts as harsh as desert lands, rough shelters in the wind and sand, that love may come and stay there. Love that opens fists of hate, heaps up gold on beggars' plates, love that shows a kindly face to enemies and strangers. And the walls of stables tremble so when the winds of fear and judgment blow, for a stable hopes in love alone and knows that love's the answer. Love the prophet's only word, the only lesson left to learn, the only end of heaven's work, and the only road that goes there. Love that sees with mercy's eyes, hold its arms out open wide, threads its loom with separate lives, and weaves them all together. So may the lamps of stables glow brightly, that their light may go for miles in darkness, so love will find its way there.
Good morning. I am coming to you this morning from my living room here in Brunswick. The snowstorm kept me from being able to get over to the church to record our service for this morning. So I'm coming to you from home, and Callie is sound asleep on the couch next to me. Perhaps you'll see her at some point in the service today. It is good to be with you. Our opening words are by Diane Lee Moomey. Again the earth did shift. Again did the nights grow short and the days long. And the people of the earth were glad and celebrated each in their own way. Come, let us be together in worship, and let us each celebrate in our own way.
Deck the halls with boughs of holly, fa la 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 la. 'Tis the season to be jolly, fa la 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 la. Don we now our gay apparel, fa la 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 la. Troll the ancient Yuletide carol, fa la 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 la. See the blazing Yule before us, fa la 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 la. Strike the harp and join the chorus, fa la 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 la. Follow me in merry measure, fa la 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 la. While I tell of Yuletide treasure, fa la 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 la. Fast away the old year passes, fa la 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 la. Hail the new ye lads and lasses, fa la 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 la. Sing we joyous all together, fa la 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 la. Heedless of the wind and weather, fa la 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 la.
Over the month of December, we have celebrated the season of Advent from the Christian calendar by lighting a candle for each of the 4 weeks of Advent. The first was for hope, the second for peace, the third for joy. And this morning, we light our 4th Advent candle for love. Now, those of you who watch movies or television may be aware of what's called a continuity error. That's when there's a scene and say someone is drinking from a glass, and then in the next shot, they take another sip and the glass is actually fuller than it was than when they first started drinking from it. And you know that the scene was spliced together and that whoever job it was to fill that glass made a mistake and didn't get the level quite right. And those of us who notice these things feel rather clever. And so in a few moments, you're about to experience that same thing because Judd and I made a video of me lighting the Advent candles a few days ago in the church. And there'll be no mistaking that that's happening in the church, whereas right now I am home. So I apologize for that continuity error. But it is important to me that we light our candles from the Advent wreath in the sanctuary. So we will do that. We light our 4th candle for love, and I offer these words by Alice Walker. Love is not concerned with whom you pray or where you slept the night you ran away from home. Love is concerned that the beating of your heart should kill no one. We light our 4th and final Advent candle for love.
Hello and good morning. Monday marks solstice, which means winter is coming. So the story that I have for you all today is a story about winter, and it's specifically a story about going out into nature during the winter snow. I love it, and I think you will too. The Wish Tree, written by Kyle McClear, with illustrations by Chris Turnham. Charles wanted to find a wish tree. His brother said, "There's no such thing." His sister said, "There's no such thing." But Charles said, "What do you think, Boggin?" And Boggin thought, surely there was such a thing. So the next morning, Charles and Boggin set forth. His brother said, "Bring a map." His sister said, "And don't forget a compass." But Charles and Boggin were already well on their way into the woods. "La-di-da-di-da-di-da," sang Charles. "Whoosh," sang Boggin. They had the whole day ahead of them, the whole day to find a wish tree. Up to the top of the hill they climbed, and down to a frosty meadow they slid. Where Charles went, Boggin followed. Where Boggin went, Charles followed. Charles and Boggin did not see the wish tree, but they did see Squirrel, who was puzzling over how to get some hazelnuts to his home. "La-di-da-di-da-di-da," sang Charles. "Whoosh," sang Boggin. Slow, slow through the snow they went, and hush, hush, past Bear's Den they crept. Where Charles went, Boggin followed. Where Boggin went, Charles followed. They did not see a wish tree anywhere, but they did see Beaver, who was busy gathering birchwood to bring to his lodge. "La-di-da-di-da-di-da," sang Charles. "Whoosh," sang Boggin. Slide, glide, across the ice they slipped, past a few logs and around the bend. Where Charles went, Boggin followed. Where Boggin went, Charles followed. The wish tree was nowhere to be found, but they did find Fox, who was late getting berries to her burrow. "La-di-da-di-da-di-da," sang Charles. "Whoosh," sang Boggin. Now they had less than half a day ahead of them, less than half a day to find a wish tree. "We may need to move a little faster, Boggin," said Charles. Charles and Boggin were moving very slowly now. Their shadows were growing longer. The whole day was almost behind them. "Boggin," Charles said, "I'm tired. I cannot search any longer." "Shh," whispered Boggin. When Charles awoke, it was snowing. It was snowing on Squirrel, and it was snowing on Beaver, and it was snowing on Fox, and it was snowing on everyone. For a moment, Charles could not see through the falling snow, but then he said, "Oh, look." "See, Boggin," said Charles, "just as we thought." And Boggin said, "Whoosh." Charles wrote his wish on a piece of paper and tied it around a branch of the wish tree. The snow was falling more gently now. The animals had prepared a night feast with hazelnut souffle, a pot of birch tea, and biscuits made of berries. Charles and Boggin celebrated with their friends until it was time to be on their way. The moon was glowing brightly. "La-di-da-di-da-di-da," sang Charles. "Whoosh," sang Boggin, all the way home.
And now let us enter into a time of meditation. These words by Denise Levertov. The bare trees have made up their seed bundles. They are ready now. The warm brown light pauses briefly, shrugs, and moves on. They are ready now to play dead for a while. I, human, have not yet devised a way to obtain such privilege. Their spring will find them rested. I and my kind battle a wakeful way to ours. And now let us breathe together in the stillness of this beautiful day blanketed with white snow. The earth resting for a time. Let yourself feel held by the chair or the sofa that is holding you. If you can, put your feet on the ground. Feel yourself planted. And let us breathe together in and out. And again in and out. There's much uncertainty in the world. The vaccine that has been developed is slowly making its way here to us, to our loved ones. But it will be a while yet before we all can be vaccinated. We continue to do our best to keep ourselves and our loved ones safe. And yet it is unnatural to be so isolated from one another. We pray that those who find themselves feeling alone will find a way to connect, will reach out, that they may be held in the love and the light of community, secure in the knowledge that the light will return, as it always does. Blessed be. Amen. Ashe. And now let us listen to a song written by the Reverend Wendy Bartel, Moonlight Whispers.
The harvest is over, the cold settles in, the nights are getting longer, the chilly winter wind, and I whisper in the moonlight, when will sun return? And I whisper in the moonlight, when will sun return? The animals hibernate, snow may begin, the evergreens listen, nearing solstice again. And I whisper in the moonlight, when will sun return? And I whisper in the moonlight, when will sun return? I sit here and reflect on the year that has passed, my family and friendships, time goes by so fast. And I whisper in the moonlight, when will sun return? And I whisper in the moonlight, when will sun return? There are school plays, there are presents, and zooming with friends. There's church and time to ponder, we look deep within. Then I whisper in the moonlight, when will peace return? Then I whisper in the moonlight, when will light return?
Our reading is Winter by Greta Crosby. Let us not wish away the winter. It is a season in itself, not simply the way to spring. When trees rest, growing no leaves, gathering no light, they let in the sky and trace themselves delicately against dawns and sunsets. The clarity and brilliance of the winter sky delight. The loom of fog softens edges, lulls the eyes and ears of the quiet, awakens by risk the unquiet. A low, dark sky can snow, emblem of individuality, liberality, and aggregate power. Snow invites to contemplation and to sport. Winter is a table set with ice and starlight. Winter dark tends to warm light, fire and candle. Winter cold to hugs and huddles. Winter want to gifts and sharing. Winter danger to visions, plans, and common endeavoring. And the zest of narrow escapes, winter tedium to merrymaking. Let us therefore praise winter, rich in beauty, challenge, and pregnant negativities.
Strong enough to hold an angel, small enough to fit in through the door. Out in my father's pine grove, just what I was looking for. I don't need a perfect Christmas tree. On this property, that's not the way they're grown. I'll bring it back with me on the long walk. Strong enough to hold my head up, big enough to walk out through the door. Maybe I was running from, maybe I was running toward. But if I'd always had you next to me, there's a part of me I never would have known. I'll bring it back with me on a long walk home. Light a candle in the window on December 21. Let it burn for the returning of the prodigal son. Now I'm strong enough to hold my tongue, big enough to walk back through the door, hungry for the homemade like I've never been before. I don't need a perfect family. That's a fantasy I've finally outgrown. I'm coming back again, but it's a long walk home. A long walk home. Strong enough to hold an angel, and small enough to fit in through the door.
I must confess that I do not like the cold. I do not love the cold. Perhaps it has something to do with sitting in cold bleachers at the ice rink in which my brother had 6 a.m. hockey practices. I associate being cold with being awakened too early, with being cranky, feeling left out. But I have worked on this. I have taken to heart the admonition that winter is a season unto itself and not simply a way to spring. Winter is a table set with ice and starlight. And now that I am living here in Maine, I so understand that line from our reading. So many stars in the dark night sky up here. So beautiful. And there is nothing so beautiful as a blanket of pure white snow with blue sky above, framed in pine trees. I am moved by this beauty, and I know that I am meant to enjoy the winter months. It just doesn't come naturally to me. I have to work at it. It's a practice. When I find myself feeling cranky and wishing for spring, I stop, breathe, check in with myself. If my feet are cold, I put on warmer socks. Instead of grumbling about all the layers I have to bundle up in to go outside, I let myself feel the soft scarf on my skin or this beautiful sweater that Dale knit for me. I remind myself of the gifts that winter brings, the beauty of the natural world, cherished items of clothing that only appear in winter, special food, the music. Oh, and I know this is a tough one this year, but the gatherings, seeing loved ones. Soon, my friends, we will be together again. But there's been so much waiting. Waiting for the return of the sun, worrying about the future. But of course, when we are worried about the future or lamenting the past, we are not present for the here and now, for the gifts that each season brings. And here in New England, we are blessed with 4 distinct seasons. Now, certainly we could be forgiven for wishing away 2020. It is nearly impossible to list all the losses, all the outrageous violations of the norms of decorum, not to mention violations of human rights and the rule of law, violations of common decency. And I promise I am not going to insert the word but into that sentence. 2020 has been a really tough year with lots of terrible things, not just loss, but also betrayal, a betrayal of trust. Viruses, like other natural disasters, happen, but greed and racism and a lack of concern for our fellow humans, our fellow beings, make natural disasters much worse. Full stop. We get to feel bad about that. We get to feel outraged and deeply sorrowful. And so the question, the challenge before us becomes, how will we make sense of all this? Even though no one would have wished for such an abrupt, if not an end, then certainly a great pause in life as we knew it, given all that, what, if anything, can we learn? What gifts might there be, not in the loss, but in the stillness that has emerged in this time of COVID. After the attacks of September 11th, all air traffic was halted for several days. People living under the flight paths of commercial airliners got to experience quiet. No noisy planes overhead for days. Scientists were able to measure directly the impact that the chemtrails from jet fuel has on our environment. We used the time to learn more about our world. I was in New York City just a week after September 11th, and in one of the most crowded places on earth, people stopped and looked each other right in the eye, embraced as old friends, held each other as tears were shed because of their shared experience of loss and fear and uncertainty. Not so different from now, except the death toll is much higher, almost 100 times higher than the death toll from September 11th. And we'll probably get there before this is all done. And of course, we can't embrace one another physically outside of our bubble. So we find other ways to hold each other close. We may not find the perfect Christmas tree, but we'll find what we need. Strong enough for an angel and small enough to fit through the door. And that long walk home is part of the gift that we offer and receive. Let us bid this difficult year farewell, goodbye, and let us continue on together, walking each other home.
Angels we have heard on high, sweetly singing o'er the plains, and the mountains in reply echo back their joyous strains. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Shepherds, why this jubilee? Why your joyous strains prolong? Say, what may the tidings be which inspire your heavenly song? Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Come to Bethlehem and see him whose birth the angels sing. Come adore on bended knee Christ the Lord, the newborn King. Gloria in excelsis Deo. Gloria in excelsis Deo.
Our closing words come to us from Mother Teresa. Love cannot remain by itself. It has no meaning. Love has to be put into action, and that action is service. Whatever form we are, able or disabled, rich or poor, it is not how much we do, but how much love we put in the doing. A lifelong sharing of love with others. Beloveds, let us go forth from this place knowing that we are held in a love that knows all our names. Peace and love to you.